Am I in frame, Matt? Am I in frame on that? On this phone? No, I like her kind of there. You can move it if you want. Yeah, cool. All right, thank you. All right. You'll have to excuse my mellow tone right now. I just finished the most incredible breathwork ceremony, concluding my experience here at Divina Vida, Costa Rica, the retreat for the educators and creators of this whole new curriculum that I've been invited to be part of. And this is what retreats are all about. It is about going to a place with maybe an idea or two and relinquishing all control of your inhibitions and expectations and your guard, because we all have it. We all put up this protective barrier and protective guard that we use to protect ourselves in the elements. But when you go to a retreat, especially a really, really good one, it gives yourself permission, or it allows you to give yourself permission to really let your guard down and surrender your ego and put down that protective armor that you wear so tightly. And like I said, we all wear it. And not only are you able to be vulnerable, but you're in a community with also individuals who are doing the exact same thing, giving themselves permission to be vulnerable. And everyone in this retreat came from different countries and different areas of life and different walks of life and different professions and different stories and experiences. And there's usually a little bit of a withstanding or a holding back when you're meeting new people, but you can't help but eventually converse with every single one in the group, listen, learn their story, and you have an opportunity to share yours without judgment. And from the moment I stepped forward and on this land, I was welcomed with a big, big open heart, warm smiles, and a lot of love. You can't help but feel nurtured and accepted when you step forward into this wonderful home. It is a very feminine, dominant space. I was only one of 3 guys. And I was thinking and hypothesizing and brewing that any man would benefit from coming here because they're going to get the nurturing and the tenderness of all these women here. And that's very healing. And at the same time, it allows me, or any man for that matter, to have permission to explore their masculinity. And the women here really allow that space to happen for the men to be themselves and explore themselves. And on day 1, we got to learn from one another, introduce ourselves, eat around the table. And like I said, I tell you what, just what an experience to be opened or greeted with open arms. I said that the owner of this farm, she's like a grandmother. I don't have any more grandmas. They've all passed away. And she's like that grandma that I don't have right now. Or maybe for someone that doesn't have a grandma right now, or maybe never did or never experienced her, she literally fills that role. And then there's another woman here who takes care of all the cooking. And she feeds you like a mom. She nourishes your soul. She's always looking after you. And she just wants you fed. And we know that the key to sometimes the hearts of men is through the stomach. Interestingly enough, I'm very, very meat-based and carnivore-based. And this space is very, very plant-based. And I use this opportunity to just embrace it and let go of my preconceived notions and my beliefs and everything that I learned to be true. And I just surrendered and I just ate fruits and vegetables. And I'm still here to tell the tale. I used it as an opportunity for my own healing, to use food as medicine, as a calling. On day one, we did a farm tour and we learned about all of the plant medicine and what the herbs and the leaves and the stems and the roots of all of these plants, how they have healing properties and how they can nourish homeostasis and bring back balances from imbalances. Interestingly enough, the common theme with pretty much every single plant was that it helps digestion. And one of the plants that we learned and we got to be introduced to was mother cacao, a cocoa tree. And this is arguably one of the most sacred plants in Costa Rica, certainly on this property here in Divina Vida. And there is a ancient wisdom that mother cacao holds and is very, very revered. And the woman that lives here, or just in the neighboring homes, Flori, she is a third generational cacao farmer. Her dad was a cacao farmer, and their family was a cacao farmer, and then their family were cacao farmers. So we got to learn about the heritage and the agricultural practices of farming the cacao beans, literally from seedling to gestation period to growing into a tree and then becoming a fruiting, flowering body, providing Mother Nature gifts. And the cacao bean looks like this big, big fruit, big bean. And then when it's ready, and it's only ready for a little while, and if you don't sort of accept it as a gift, then Mother Nature the squirrels and so forth will eat it. And when you cut open the top and you pull out the seeds, they're like this white, sticky, gooey film. And it's the protective sort of chemicals or the body of it. And then there's the beans inside. And this gooey white film was hands down the best tasting thing that I've ever tasted in my life. It literally tastes like you're tasting the nectar of God. And that's one of the reasons why it's such a revered plant medicine, because it's so healthy and it's so powerful and it's so healing. Then we learned how to extract the beans and ferment them. And we know that the fermentation process activates all the beneficial bacteria and the live enzymes. And then we learned how to dry the beans. And it takes 5 days to dry the beans appropriately. And once the beans are dried, then they're roasted. And the roasting process of the beans is a very labor-intensive process. And they have to be there the entire time, stirring over a hot flame. Otherwise, they're going to burn. But they have to reach the right temperature where they sort of crack. Because inside the actual pod, there's many, many, many small little pieces. There's another bean sort of in that pod. And the popping in that roasting process breaks the pod from the shell. And then those pods get grinded into another sort of process. And Flori has MacGyvered, that's what she calls herself, MacGyvered. She's put this juicing station where she crushes the beans and extracts them from the shell. And then there's a fan behind blowing the shells off, leaving the nibs. And then the nibs have to get ground. And then you've got this beautiful pulp, this golden brown pulp. And that's the cacao. And then that's processed and turned into chocolate or ceremonial cacao. So that whole process was day one. And then we did, with her, a ceremonial cacao ceremony where it involves breath work and meditation and sound and drumming therapy. And what an experience that was. And then day two, we woke up super early because the sun rises very early here and it's hot. On day two, we got a chance to introduce ourselves and learn about the curriculum and co-collaborate with some of the creators. And then in the evening, and again, this is all having lunches and dinners with just the most wonderful people, and this space is just inviting you to be your authentic self. And then we got to immerse ourselves in a sound bath. The facilitator had like 21 Tibetan sound bowls with 2 didgeridoos, drum, and different instruments. And we just totally submersed ourselves in this most beautiful, magical sound journey. And it really is a sound journey because he is playing these instruments while you're meditating, and you're just going on this journey deeper, deeper, deeper into this amazing, magical state of self. And then after that, we got to sort of recalibrate. The sun had already set, and we got to look at the stars and go to bed. And then the following day, we woke up early and we knew what was to come. It was a drum making ceremony with another shaman from the land and his partner. And I've got the flesh wounds to tell the tale. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blisters right open, bleeding on my drum, making my own drum. And drum making is an ancient ancestral practice. The beat of the drum represents the heartbeat of Mother Nature, the heartbeat of the world, the heartbeat of the universal language, the heartbeat of creation, the heartbeat of destruction. And what an amazing opportunity and learning experience to craft and create my own drum under the careful and the gentle observation of a shaman who wholeheartedly wants you to create this magnificent musical instrument. And then we got to do a fire ceremony where we essentially blessed and prepared the drums, dried the skins from the fire of the heat to allow us to play the drums in a fire circle ceremony that was connective with all of us, to say the least. Then, yesterday, we had an amazing opportunity to explore through a different exercise that I'd never done before. It was soul gazing, where you have to stare in the eyes of another guest for 10 minutes without saying a word. That's tough. We very rarely make long-standing eye contact. It's human nature to look at someone in the eyes and then look away, and then look away, and then continue to just looking away. They say that looking in the eyes of someone is the key to their soul. And yeah, it is. It totally is. And the whole point of this exercise is to, again, relinquish your control, relinquish your ego, allow fear to come out, and then still to move through that fear and just continue to look and gaze through that person's eyes. And things start changing. There starts to be a new sense of awareness about this person. You start to see different character traits that they have that you can explore through by looking in their eyes. And there's something called reflective awareness, which then the seer is the seen and the seen is the same. And what I mean by that is what you see in them is also what you see in yourself. So when you are gazing into the eyes of someone for up to 10 minutes and you see an inner child and you see a strong, powerful person, and when you see a vulnerable, sad little girl or little boy, and then the other side you see a confident and courageous boy or girl, you realize that those traits that person exemplifies, so do you exemplify those same traits. And then you also realize that when you're soul gazing, you come to the realization that that person has gone through heartbreak. They've gone through sorrow. They've gone through grief. They've been rejected. They have fear. There's a level of humility that you grasp just by staring that long into someone's eyes. It's inevitable. You can't help but get to those realizations. And again, through reflective awareness, you realize that you too have those exact same traits. And that allowed what an amazing opportunity to have deeper conversations with everyone in the group after that. You realize that you yearn for making that connection, and you want to have in-depth conversations with people because you want to have that connection. You can't help but want to have that connection because it feels so authentically good. And finally, brings me to today. We got to wake up early to the sunrise and go down to the yoga studio, which is just absolutely beautiful in the heart of the jungle. And we got to do a breathwork ceremony guided by Lisa, grandmother Lisa, the owner of the farm. And can I tell you that I've had breakthroughs before through other breathwork, and I've had significant breakthroughs and releases through my mushroom journeys. This ceremony was equivalent to a mushroom hero dose journey, and it was all brought on through breath. There was 5 rounds through strategic breathing, in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the mouth, with holds. And after that 5th round was the most profound experience that I got to experience. I experienced my inner child. I experienced another birth. I experienced a death. And then I experienced a rebirth. And I experienced so much tears and laughter. It was incredible. And I was supposed to do another podcast with one last educator, teacher, Her name's Gabrielle, and she is a professional chocolate maker. Gabrielle, come here really, really quick. What perfect timing. It doesn't happen by accident. Gabrielle, come. Sit over here. Let's see if I can just turn this volume on. It's very impromptu. But I literally just brought you up because I said that we couldn't do our podcast because I'm feeling so vulnerable and just so full of gratitude. And it would be difficult to have a conversation with someone because I'm still trying to figure out what I just experienced. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so I was saying that we had a scheduled podcast, and I said that you're a professional chocolate maker. So we're still going to do a quick little intro because why not?
Absolutely.
So these two cameras aren't working right now. We're just operating on this one camera, and you're probably going to need to sit super, super close, and that way I'll get close, and that way we're together. There we go. So why don't we talk about chocolate a little bit?
Absolutely.
Because you have a love for chocolate.
I do.
And although I'm a health practitioner and I'm talking about healthy things, there are a lot of health components that come along with chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you share with the viewership, again, a little bit of a background and why you chose high-end, world-class chocolate and what it means for you.
So honored to be here. Thank you so much. So I was in the military for 23 years, and after my release, I was looking for something that was totally different. And I tried a few things. I tried archaeology, and then it just was not working.
Right.
It wasn't my true calling. And then one day I tasted a really excellent chocolate called fine chocolate, and it's made through a process called bean to bar. And I felt that I had never tasted anything like this. And so I kept...
I'll give you these two.
Certainly.
This will add to the experience a little bit.
Thank you. Okay, good. So what happened is
A little bit louder.
I tasted this chocolate, and I was so enthralled with the flavor that came out. And it's very much like fine wine. And you could compare fine chocolate to chocolate. What is grape juice to fine wine?
Big difference.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And little did I know that first chocolate bar that I tasted was actually had won the world award. The top chocolate bar in its category. So no wonder I was absolutely blown away. So and then I just kept on ordering, and then the company stopped selling chocolate in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a Canadian company called Hummingbird in Almonte in Ontario. So people don't notice, but wow, there's some amazing chocolate makers in Canada. So what happened after that is when I realized that I couldn't get my chocolate until the end of the summer, I felt that there's got to be a better way for me to get my supply. And that's when I decided, it can't be that hard. I'll just make it myself. And it's anything but hard.
Right.
But I didn't know at the time. I was very naive, and I jumped in with both feet. And as well, I became more aware as I did some research with regards to the environmental impact and the human costs related to the cacao growth. And I didn't want to be part of that. I wanted to find a different way and see if there was a different way. And the bean to bar movement, it really is a movement. It's basically using cocoa beans and transforming it from the raw, dried ingredient that has been grown around the world to the best fine chocolate I could find. So, following that, I wanted to apply making sure that my cacao had no negative impact. So there's many ways to do this, but the way I did it is by forming a really good relationship with MAPCO, which is the Mexican Arabican Bean Company. Once Gonzalez is in Ontario and is a Mexican Canadian who has seen himself firsthand the struggle of cacao farmers, himself being a child who had worked in a cacao farm. So most people don't know this, but when I first started, there was 1.7 million children who worked on cacao farm. And I'm not talking about children helping mom and dad with chores after school. I'm talking about children as young as 6 going out and, with no education, and this is their
Are these
this is their
children
lives.
are these children that have been taken from their families, or the families are
not
like
necessarily some of them, but I think there's so much obscurity around that, so I cannot. But there are, if you look through the news, you're gonna see some of these children are now adult and are taking some of these giant chocolate corporation to court.
Wow.
Because of the harm that was done to them. So I wanted to be part of it. Opened my eyes, and I wanted to make sure that I don't do that. So Juan Gonzalez is certified that this chocolate is free from child labor, and we instantly connected. He's a very supportive individual, and he will go to the farm sometimes 2 days, 3 days before their expected meetings, just to see, like, are there any children? This is cool time right now. Are there any children around these farms? And I recollect where he contacted me before, said I couldn't meet them. I got there and there were children. There's no meeting to be had.
Got it.
And fly back home. So that's what it is. So I get these cocoa beans from Juan Gonzalez. He is my importer. So there's a romantic idea that chocolate makers should always go and meet the farmers. But imagine these farmers don't want to see these hundreds of chocolate makers who have no idea what they're looking for.
Right.
So it's much better to communicate with them if you can, if they want a relationship with you, but also understand that they have a business to run.
So you've hired a broker.
Yes.
And his job is to make
he's
sure
an importer. Yes.
And his job is to really source out
the best cacao
and look for sustainability and honorability.
Exactly.
And then you've vetted him.
Exactly.
And so you're really it's like me with my food, and the way we really try to talk about and train people to have a relationship with a farmer if they can, but at least go to a farmer's markets, right?
Exactly. So I get my cacao from Peru, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Papua New Guinea, and Vietnam. So you can imagine, I'm bilingual, French, Canadian, and so I don't know how to speak Papua New Guinea. So it's important.
You need that broker.
Exactly. You need that broker, someone who will really have the same background, and as well, doing a little bit of research, make sure that this guy is authentic and he truly believes what he's selling.
Good.
So from there, I start making chocolate, and I learned how to taste it too to the International Institute of Cacao and Chocolate Tasting in London, England, and it really transformed the way I even taste. And if you take any food, if you put in your mouth and munch quickly, you're not going to have the satisfaction. But if you put a piece of chocolate, a really good chocolate in your mouth, let it melt, and let the evolution of flavor come to your, the aroma from your mouth goes through your nostrils. And this is really where we taste, because then it's so much more satisfying. I observe sometimes people who eat in excess, and I don't think they taste one bite.
No, of course.
And I read somewhere as well that it's just only the first 10 bites, the 10 mouthful that you have, that you actually taste. After that, everything comes very much muted.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's there's something to say
There,
about that.
Yeah. I don't want to interrupt, but at the same time, I got to wrap this, but there is a major difference with, let's just say, commercial chocolate and high-end chocolate.
Absolutely.
And can you just really touch on some of the health benefits, and then also when someone is buying a good quality chocolate, why it's so expensive, and why they should justify that?
That's right. So the health benefits, well, chocolate opens the heart. That's why we give it to each other on Valentine's Day and when we feel someone needs it. So plus it's, if someone has iron deficiency, that's a good place to go. And there's some flavonoids, and they are, I'm not a nutritionist, but as well, cacao is a really good cacao, which once you add sugar becomes chocolate. Has some ability to carry the nutrients up and down your bloodstream. So, yeah.
So there are benefits to chocolate, but
there are benefits.
Just in moderation.
In moderation. Like if you buy chocolate that has, 7 or 8 ingredients, I'm not sure what you're eating. So
right.
You want to look for, like, the first ingredient should be cacao. And then if you have something like 70% dark chocolate, 80% dark chocolate, but you can also have some really good milk chocolate will have just the same amount of sugar as a dark chocolate bar. And that's what you're looking for. Fewer ingredients and ingredients that you can understand what they are. Hopefully no palm oil, because this is a way to cheap out the chocolate. And, like if you pay for a bag of cacao that, like my cacao cost me like sometime $1,000 Canadian a bag of 50 kilos. So then you end up, 27% of that is waste from the husk removal and everything. So you end up having, it's a product that takes so long to make at our end too. And if you spend the money and pay really what it's worth, between 6, 7, 10, 12, 15, I've paid up to I think $35 for a chocolate bar, but it's like one piece in your mouth, and then the good flavor of a really good cacao, really good chocolate would stay in your mouth at least 20 minutes.
Un morceau, ça suffit?
Ça suffit, pas plus que ça. Donc c'est vraiment bon pour la santé.
Yeah. We will conclude. We will finish this, or we will wrap, or we're gonna have another conversation with our next visit in Costa Rica.
Absolutely.
And if you are an up-and-coming chocolatier or chocolate maker, or someone that really is passionate about chocolate and wants to learn how to incorporate it into your business or your family, or you want to maybe have a hobby around chocolate, Gabriella is an educator and a teacher, world traveled, one of the best in the best in not chocolatier, because it's different. She is a chocolate maker. So like
chocolatiers haven't made their own chocolate since the 1950s, although some do, but it's not very.
It's just that there's a big difference. So Living Light, right, that is the governing body, that is the new sort of entity that we're teaching under, and you're teaching courses all around, one of which is here in Costa Rica, right?
At Divina Vida. So we're going to do this once a year. We're doing one next week, so this is exciting. Can't wait to meet my students. And then there's going to be another one in France at a beautiful chateau in Ardillier. And
When is that?
it's the third week of September.
So this
Third or fourth
episode,
week,
this
but
episode,
I can give you the link.
this episode might be launching around September or maybe after,
Okay.
but maybe I'll just get some sound bites and use it as advertising.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for doing this and hopping in really quick.
Wonderful meeting you.
Oh, you too. I'm going to finish summarizing my experience with everyone. So, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So I had to do that really quick. And as you can see, we're both feeling like vulnerable, a little bit more mellow tone, not overly enthusiastic, just because breath work can bring about so many emotions and experiences and move energy around within your body. That's right, because energy stores trauma, energy stores emotions. And when you have blockages or unresolved emotions, you have blockages in your energy. And so breath harnesses and stimulates both your parasympathetic and sympathetic pathways and nervous system and really moves things around. And you can't help but go through and experience different emotions by the movement of emotions through breath. And a successful breathwork ceremony or experience very well may likely bring about some new emotions or some unresolved traumas or anything like that just by breath. It is the most incredible experience, and it is the cheapest form of therapy. And when you come out of a breathwork ceremony, you are a completely different person. And right now, my brain is so plastic. And what I mean by plastic, it means that it's very formable and manipulatable, because I've created new pathways and new synapses. And now what I absorb or what I'm exposed to or what I consume, it will turn into new truths, and it will have an impact on my subconscious and conscious programming and paradigms. So, pardon me if I shortened the conversation with Gabrielle, but I really am feeling that pliable, and I just need time to integrate. And that's where it comes into when I'm doing my mushroom ceremonies and plant ceremonies and breathwork ceremonies with my other clients. Integration is so important, and you really need time to just be with yourself and adjust and recalibrate. Don't listen to the music, don't listen to the radio, don't listen to the media, don't watch movies, don't read the newspaper. Just be with yourself and recalibrate your thoughts. So in closing, I just want to say that this experience was completely life-changing, monumental. Expectations overly exceeded. And what an amazing experience to be in this loving home surrounded by loving individuals. And what just a treat. What a treat. Lisa was saying that her prayers have been answered, and I can definitely attest to that. This is a dream come true. So in closing, if you want to have the most incredible experience, I strongly suggest that you take a look at Divina Vida website. Look at Living Light. I think it'll be up at some point, but the curriculum, the courses, the educators, there's so much to do in 1 week. And this is way better than any 7-day all-inclusive vacation at just an all-you-can-eat buffet holiday resort. You couldn't pay me to do that. This is way more valuable. And when you go to a retreat like this, like, it's work. You're in the jungle. It's hot, right? There's a pool and there's cold showers and so forth, but it's work. You're doing soul work. You're doing personal work. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to put myself in a position where every day is a work day, but every day is a holiday. And I'm able to work abroad and just do this and pursue this experience, this life, which is just an absolute trip. So in closing, if you've stuck around for this long, I appreciate you. I hope that there is some value in this. And although this is about me, this can be about you. If you are on your journey to personal development and betterment, and you're ready to break free from the old shackles and your old paradigms and your old beliefs and be vulnerable. Oh, look, I'm looking at the editor right now, and he's showing me some cool videos right now, some cool photos. So I will be showing and sharing that with you when they come out. Mucho gracias, amigo. Just what an incredible experience. So if you're ready for a journey, I strongly suggest that you embark on a retreat. And if this sounds enticing to you, certainly you can send me an email. You can reach out to me, and I would be happy to guide you along and bring you apart on this family here in this journey. Because what a trip! What a trip! What a trip! With gratitude, thank you so much. Pura vida. Gut Whisperer out.